So I'm here with Oonagh Duncan, and Oonagh has a new book coming out. And Oonagh's been a longtime member of our PLF community. And I think this book has got some very interesting marketing lessons. So Oonagh, welcome. Thanks so much. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your book?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah. So the book is called Ditch the Diet: 7 Essential Habits to Get Lean, Stay Healthy, and Generally Kick Ass at Life. And it is actually a re-release of this book, which was called Healthy as Beep, same subtitle. So this book came out in October 2019, and it killed in Canada. We got debuted at #1 on the Globe and Mail bestsellers for the nonfiction list. And we did really well in the UK as well, and it was awesome. And then it just kind of didn't do as well in the US. And my American publishers were like, what's going on with this? And they couldn't get me on any TV shows in the US and, that sort of stuff. And they kept saying, we're running into problems with the swearing in the title. And then when they looked at the data, they said, yeah, because it's interesting because the purchaser for Barnes and Noble loved this cover, loved the title. They said, don't touch the title, because I said, oh, I don't know. They're like, no, it's great. So, but for some reason it didn't hit. So then after it really kind of blew up in the rest of the world, my American publishers were like, okay, let's try this again. And what they did was they did Facebook ads with all these different titles and all these different covers to see which ones the American market would click on the most. And I don't even know where the Facebook ad went, but the whole thing was to see which one got the most clicks. And then of all the options, this is the one that Americans loved. Bok choy, that says Ditch the Diet.
And
who knew?
Same book, same subhead, new cover, new title.
Exactly, same book. And I was really emphatic that they put ass in there, because when you open it up, there is a lot of salty language in here. So I was a little bit worried that it looks all PG on the front, and then some lovely lady is going to open up and go, oh my gosh. So I really wanted to, make it a bit clear, because I'm a bit worried that it's now a bit misleading, because it is pretty parental advisory lyrics.
It's like PG-13 inside.
Yeah.
Or it's it's what your kids hear when they're in 5th grade, basically.
That's right. Yes.
So Oonagh, can you just talk? So first of all, I've read the book. We've talked book strategy when you were out in a mastermind out here in Durango, and when you say it was #1 Globe and Mail in Canada, that's basically having a #1 New York Times bestseller. So it's a big deal, and sold a whole bunch. And can you tell me a little bit about how you conceptualized the book, the actually building out the book?
Well, this is one of the craziest things, is that it's actually the seeds of this book was my PLC scripts. When I joined PLF, and I don't even know if I've ever told you this story, because you've kind of teased me before with saying that I'm a bit of a quick start. And I don't know if you know how much of a quick start I was. So I bought PLF and I implemented as each lesson was released. I had no idea what was coming next. I would watch the lesson, and then I would send out the emails, and then kind of wait to see, okay, now what do I do? I don't know. I'll have to wait until the next module is released. So I was literally launching as the PLF was happening. And then I was doing all these scripts and the PLC scripts. So for example, part 1 of my book is the opportunity. This is where I convince people that no matter how many times they've tried to lose weight and they've tried to really ingrain healthy habits, that they can do it. And, I call part 1 of my book, Get Your Head Out of Your Ass, because it's like the mindset stuff, the head game that you really got to have down, the foundations. And then part 2, in the PLCs, is the transformation. And that part of my book I call just tell me what the F to do to get skinny already. And that's where I talk about the 7 habits of highly healthy mother effers. And I go over exactly what they need to do to just get skinny already. And then part 3 is, the owner's experience. And I call this part, how not to be a big fat quitty McQuitter face. And it's really all about just really sticking with it through the highs and the lows. And I talk about how they can really, make this their lifestyle and not just another ride on the diet roller coaster. So I wrote those scripts however long ago when I bought PLF, and those scripts, those words ended up in this book, and I just kind of fleshed them out. And I'm so grateful to you for that, because it really is the journey that my clients needed to go on. And now having, launched, done PLF and launched my business, I just have like thousands of case studies and experiences. And I know the patterns that clients go through when they're trying to make this transformation in their body. And so that's how the book came about. Just after watching millions of people, or not millions, let's not be silly, but thousands, I just, I was like, all right, I got stuff to say, I got to write this down, because I can't say it any more times. This is what the world needs to hear about weight loss, and I've got to write it down. So that's how it came about.
So, and for everyone listening along at home, PLC is pre-launch content.
Right.
So that's part of our jargon here in my world. So when you do a launch, you will, before you even release your product, you'll release several pieces of content, good meaty content that lead into the sale. So what Oonagh did was she took her pre-launch content and fleshed it out into a book, an enormously entertaining book. I think I told you, Oonagh, like one time when I was staying over at my secret headquarters, which I normally, that's not normally my home, but I was staying over there, and your book was there, and I just opened it up because I just wanted to read something for like 10 minutes before I fell asleep. And I ended up like reading almost the entire book there, at 11:30 p.m. It just, because it just moves you along. It's lighthearted, and it's fun. And it's also, it packs a punch. So just a wonderful, wonderful book. So when is that? So now you're just about to release it in the States, right?
Yeah. So now it's being re-released as the paperback version in the US on June 1st. And I'm like right now. So I'm super pumped about it. So it's my second chance to really, launch this. So I'm going all out. For pre-orders, I'm offering like $300 worth of goodies if people pre-order this paperback book. They get workouts, home workouts with, they can do at home with no equipment. They're getting meal prep plans. They're getting recipes, like all of that. I'm like, here, have everything. I just want people to get their hands on this book because I know how it changes people's lives.
So let's dig into the book launch strategy a little bit. So it's like build up these massive bonuses to drive early sales.
Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of people don't know this, that the reason why authors are so frantic for you to pre-order is because all the book bestseller lists are renewed every single week, right? So it's just how much sold in that 1 week. So basically, you want a density of sales into 1 week if you're hoping to get on a list. And all of the books that were ordered before you go on sale, they count for the week that you go on sale. So if you're hoping for bestseller status, your best strategy is to just sell as many books as you can leading up to that week. So that's why I and many other authors really try to incentivize pre-sales. If you buy any time from now until June 1st, I'm going to throw all this extra stuff at you because I really, really want you to buy before June 1st. I mean, I want you to read the book regardless, but it's awesome for me if you get the pre-sales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then also, I think it's really driving early reviews as well.
Totally. Yeah. And then more buzz, right? Because people, and I'm so lucky actually going into this launch because I already have so much buzz around the book, which is amazing. So I had a book team for my original launch, which was my clients. And this was the strategy you told me when I was at that mastermind. You were like, get your nearest and dearest to just keep spreading the word. And they all got an advanced copy and it just worked amazingly. And so now I've got that times 100 because I've got so many people who are such like cult fans of this book. And it's just amazing the ripple effect that can happen from there. Because the power of, we tend to think, especially when we're new in the industry, like, oh, if only I had a big affiliate who would mail for me, or if only I was on the Today Show. And in my experience, the real power is in your clients who love you so much talking. Way more effective than the Today Show, way more effective than, the big mailing that you think is going to save your business. Really, it's about those people down there who are just talking to their neighbors and the moms that pick up, like that's the power. And if you can organize that power and leverage it, then you're laughing.
So it's interesting that you get a second chance here at this book 2 years later. What are you doing differently this time around compared to last time in 2018?
Yeah. So I am those people, like my army of people who are already fans, I am giving them the swipe copy and the graphics and really trying to help them with the supporting of the book. I am doing affiliates this time, which is amazing. And it's been, easier to get affiliates because now I've got much more, credibility. What else am I doing? Oh my gosh. I'm reaching out to everybody who's been on my list, everyone who's read the book, and just asking for help in getting the word out. And, I did a lot of media before, and I'll do the media this time again, but I really have found what sells books is a really strong incentive too. Like I'm holding nothing back. And you're like that too. You're like, don't, there's no scarcity. There's no scarcity, and, don't hold back and be like, oh no, they have to buy in order to get that. No, just give. And then they will take, there's no scarcity. So I'm giving so much in the pre-orders and not holding back with that. And I actually have changed my intention because I think you remember, I don't know if you remember this, we had a chat and I said, I really want New York Times bestseller. Like that's it. And I was like 100% goals and whatever, as fitness people tend to be. And you were like, yeah, is that what you want? Like you were very gracious, but you kind of like, allow me to question that a little bit. And one of my biggest shifts with this launch is that my intention has changed. Bestseller status would be amazing, but I kind of have that enough that I can already check that box. And now it's like impact. I literally get emails and messages and DMs every day from people who read this book and it completely shifted their ideas around food and nutrition and all that stuff. And it's changed their bodies. Like reading a book changed their body. It's crazy. And I just want to get that out there. And so my intention has changed. It really was about the status before, and now it's like impact.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm going through the same thing because when I did the first edition of my book, it was New York Times, number one New York Times bestseller. And it's like, okay, I've checked that box. This time I've got a new, as you know, we were talking about before we started, new edition coming out in July, end of July. And I'm like, I'm not there. It will change your marketing. Your intention is going to change your marketing, and going for that bestseller list can be the right strategy at times, but it's not this time. And same thing. I just want more impact with this. And, it is a lot of work, even though you just put a new cover on and a new title, it's still a lot of work to do what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Which is one of the, how are you? And I was just going to say, one interesting thing is we did not do an interview for that first book. I mean, for the first edition 2 years ago. And so you reached out this time to me and pinged me this time. And here we're doing an interview. So that's a little, I mean, that's, oh, you're welcome.
Right. That's something different for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. How are you working with affiliates? Like, how are you because like that getting affiliates to mail for a book can be a little tricky because
it's tricky. Yeah, absolutely. So what we're doing is we're having people mail directly to the book in order to get all the bonuses. I'm also doing a live Ditch the Diet challenge right now, and affiliates are mailing to that at the end of the ditch. And like, so this is an example of how I'm changing it. I thought at first, okay, I'll make the challenge only for people who buy the new version. And then I thought, no, like anyone who's read any version or anyone who's just just come, anyone, it's fine. And so my hope, of course, is that I deliver such massive value in this challenge that people are like, give me your book, give me your whatever she's selling, hoping. And then at the end, I'm offering my 28-day transformation. And so I'm giving affiliates a cut of the 28-day transformation and my back end upsell, which I've never done before. But again, it's just like, there's no scare. I'm giving everything I can because right now it is about just massive impact. So if that's about giving all the money to affiliate, no problem. If that's about letting anyone into my thing, no problem. Let's just do it. Come on. It's time.
Nice. Yeah. So, first of all, before we get off, we have to let people know where they can get all this great big bonus package. And tell them why they need to get the book. And one other thing, so I just want to be clear, I am not an affiliate for Oonagh. There's no compensation here, anything like that. I just, I'm a fan of Oonagh and her work and this book.
Thank you. So thank you, Jeff. I did create a special URL for you. So it's fitfeelsgood.com/Jeff. And then if you go there, you will go and you can ditch the diet and enter your name and get all of these juicy bonuses. Like I said, meal prep, recipes, workouts. I got you. And you should totally get this book because really, it just got named by Book Authority, one of the top 100 fitness books of all time, and one of the top new happiness books, which was really lovely for me too, because I really had to take a holistic approach in this book. And I loved that it got categories even outside fitness, even though the primary transformation that a lot of people tell me about when they contact me is I've lost a ton of weight after having not been able to do it before. And that's fantastic. But what makes me even more proud is when I hear about how that has affected their happiness and their idea of themselves. I had one person who sent me a picture of an airplane seatbelt to say, you know what, this is the first time that I haven't had to ask for a seatbelt extender. And because of that, now I want to travel the world. And when I hear stuff like that, I'm like, this is bigger than just fitting into jeans. This is about people living their freaking lives. And it's important. It's important. Sometimes people think it's weight loss, it's a bit shallow. And I'm like, no, man, this is you living your life in a body as a self that feels comfortable to you. And people are holding themselves back and they don't have to. And they can read this book. You don't have to hire a personal trainer and get a nutritionist and all that stuff. It really is so simple and available for you.
That's what I love about the book is it's, like I said, it's lighthearted, it's fun. And it's in the title, Ditch the Diet. It's not the same old, it's just a fresh way it's a completely fresh new approach. So I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oonagh, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for having me. I appreciate this so much.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing how this does because, like I said, I'm a fan of the book, and I don't think I'm the target market. So
no, I love you, and I did not write this book for you.
And so I'm sitting there at night, I'm like just going page after page when I should be asleep. So awesome. Ditch the diet.
Fitfeelsgood.com/Jeff.
Fitfeelsgood.com/Jeff. Thanks, Oonagh.
Thank you.
Good luck.